We tend to think of fasteners as nuts, bolts, and screws. But a fastener is anything designed to mechanically hold, join, close, or secure things together. Once you look at fasteners that way, they're everywhere. Here are 3 good examples: a zipper, hook and loop, which most of us know by the Velcro brand name, and the common zip tie. You've probably used all 3 of these hundreds or even thousands of times. There's nothing unusual about any of them. But each one uses a completely different mechanical method to hold things together, and each one has strengths and weaknesses that determine where it works well and where it doesn't. Let's start with the zipper. A zipper is really a long series of small interlocking fasteners. The elements on each side aren't simply being pushed against one another. The slider guides the 2 rows together and forces them into engagement in sequence. Move the slider the other direction, and it separates them in sequence. That sequential action is one of the clever things about a zipper. Once the elements are engaged along the entire length, you have a strong, continuous closure. But the slider only has to engage or disengage a few elements at a time. That's why a relatively small movement and modest amount of force can open or close a long zipper. Understanding that also helps when a zipper starts giving you trouble. If a zipper closes and then separates again behind the slider, don't immediately assume that all the teeth are bad. The slider itself may be worn. Over time, a metal slider can spread slightly and no longer push the 2 sides completely together. On the other hand, if the problem always occurs at one particular location, inspect that area. A bent, missing, or damaged element can prevent proper engagement. Fabric, thread, dirt, and other debris can also interfere with the slider. And when a zipper jams, pulling harder isn't necessarily the answer. The slider is designed to guide properly aligned elements together. If something is misaligned or caught in it, more force can turn a small problem into a damaged slider or damaged zipper. A zipper also has a preferred way of carrying a load. It does a very good job of maintaining a long closure. But heavy side loads trying to pull the 2 halves directly apart can put a lot of stress on the elements and slider. We've probably all seen this with an overstuffed suitcase or tool bag. The zipper may work perfectly well until we ask it to hold something that is trying very hard to pull it apart. Our second fastener works very differently. This is hook and loop. One side contains small hooks and the other contains loops. Push the 2 surfaces together and thousands of those little hooks engage the loops. Instead of a few concentrated attachment points, the fastening action is distributed across an area. One of the most interesting things about hook and loop is that how you pull on it makes a big difference. Try sliding 2 properly engaged pieces apart across their surface, and they can resist a surprising amount of force. Try pulling the entire surface straight apart, and you're working against a large number of connections at the same time. But start at an edge and peel it back, and you're only releasing a small number of hooks at any one time. Suddenly, it comes apart easily. That's not a defect. That's one of the things that makes hook and loop useful. It can hold something securely and still allow us to intentionally remove it without tools. But hook and loop does wear. The hooks can become bent, flattened, or broken, and the loops can become stretched and matted. One of the easiest indications is simply how it feels. If a connection that once required a deliberate pull starts releasing easily, take a closer look. Before throwing it away, though, check for contamination. Lint, hair, sawdust, thread, and other debris can fill the hooks and loops and prevent them from fully engaging. In a workshop, that's something worth remembering. A dirty piece of hook and loop may look worn out when it really just needs to be cleaned. There's another failure that can fool you, especially with adhesive-backed hook and loop. The hook and loop itself may be perfectly good while the adhesive holding it to the surface is failing. If something attached with adhesive-backed Velcro keeps falling off, determine which connection is actually releasing. Are the hooks separating from the loops, or is the adhesive backing pulling away from the wall, tool, or other surface? Those are 2 completely different failures and require 2 different solutions. Our third example may be one of the simplest fasteners in the shop, the zip tie. A zip tie is basically a small ratchet. Look closely at the strap, and you'll see a series of teeth. Inside the head is a small locking pawl. Feed the strap through the head, and the teeth can move past the pawl in one direction. Try to pull the strap backward, and the pawl engages the teeth and prevents it from moving. Simple, cheap, and very effective. They're great for bundling wires, securing hoses, organizing cables, and making quick attachments. But one of their advantages can also become a problem. It's very easy to keep tightening one. A zip tie doesn't necessarily need to be pulled as tight as you can get it. Around electrical wiring, for example, over-tightening can put unnecessary pressure on the insulation and create a concentrated stress point. The goal is to secure the bundle, not crush it. The material and environment matter too. Many common zip ties are made from nylon, and nylon can deteriorate from environmental exposure. Sunlight, temperature, chemicals, and age can all affect the material. A tie that has become brittle may look perfectly acceptable until you flex it or put it under load. Color alone doesn't tell you what a zip tie is designed to handle. You'll often hear that black zip ties are UV resistant. Some are. Black outdoor rated ties are commonly manufactured with additives that improve UV resistance. But a black zip tie isn't automatically an outdoor zip tie. Black ties are also commonly used for electronics and cable management, simply because black is appropriate for the application. If you're going to use a zip tie outside where sunlight and weather matter, don't choose it just because it's black. Look for one that's actually rated for the environment where you're going to use it. And don't forget about the end after you cut one. A poorly cut zip tie tail can leave a surprisingly sharp edge. Cutting it close and clean isn't just about appearance. It's part of doing the job properly. So we've looked at 3 extremely common fasteners, and all 3 accomplish the same basic job in completely different ways. The zipper uses a long row of interlocking elements that are engaged and disengaged sequentially. Hook and loop distributes thousands of tiny mechanical connections across an area. The zip tie uses a simple ratcheting mechanism to allow movement in one direction while preventing movement in the other. More importantly, every one of them has a preferred way of working and an area of weakness. A zipper depends on alignment and properly functioning elements and sliders. Hook and loop can hold remarkably well in one direction, while being intentionally easy to peel apart in another, and wear or contamination can reduce its effectiveness. A zip tie works extremely well in tension around a bundle, but material, environment, and over-tightening all matter. That's really the larger lesson. A fastener isn't good or bad simply because it's strong or weak. The right fastener depends on what you're trying to hold together, what direction the forces are coming from, what environment it's going to live in, and whether you need to take that connection apart again. Nuts, bolts, and screws are only part of that story. Once you start looking at fastening as a job that needs to be accomplished instead of just a piece of threaded hardware, you'll start seeing fasteners everywhere, and you'll get better at choosing the right one for the job. This video is part of our Fasteners series, where we look at the simple hardware and fastening methods we use every day, how they actually work, and how to use them better. Thanks for watching. There's more to come.